Question 1. A project team is struggling with frequent shifts in priorities and a lack of clear direction from management, leading to decreased morale and productivity. As the project manager, which PMP principle should you emphasize to address this situation effectively? A. Effectively engage with stakeholders. B. Demonstrate leadership behaviors. C. Tailor the development approach. D. Focus on value. Answer: A. Effectively engage with stakeholders. Effectively engaging with stakeholders is crucial when there are frequent shifts in priorities and a lack of clear direction, as it directly addresses the root cause of confusion and low morale. Project managers must proactively communicate, collaborate, and manage expectations with all stakeholders, especially those influencing priorities, to ensure alignment and stable direction. By establishing clear communication channels and involving key decision-makers, the project manager can clarify objectives, obtain stable priorities, and build a shared understanding, thereby improving team morale and productivity. Remember, active stakeholder engagement helps to stabilize the project environment and fosters a more cooperative atmosphere. Question 2. A project scope has been clearly defined, and the team is making progress. However, during a weekly status meeting, a team member identifies a potential risk related to a critical technology component that could significantly delay the project if it fails. What should be the project manager's immediate next step regarding this identified risk? A. Implement a contingency plan for the risk. B. Update the project's risk register with the new risk. C. Inform the sponsor about the newly identified risk. D. Perform a qualitative risk analysis to assess the risk's impact and probability. Answer: B. Update the project's risk register with the new risk. The immediate next step after identifying a new risk is to update the project's risk register with the detailed information about it. The risk register is the central repository for all identified risks, their potential impacts, probabilities, and planned responses, and ensuring it is up to date is a fundamental aspect of proactive risk management. Once the risk is logged, it can then be properly analyzed, prioritized, and appropriate response plans can be developed, preventing potential surprises later in the project lifecycle. Always ensure new information is recorded and managed systematically before jumping to solutions. Question 3. A project has an earned value, EV, of $150,000, an actual cost, AC, of $175,000, and a planned value, PV, of $160,000. What is the Cost Performance Index, CPI, for this project? A. 0.86. B. 0.94. C. 1.07. D. 1.17. Answer: A. 0.86. The Cost Performance Index, CPI, is a measure of the cost efficiency of the budget spent on the project, calculated using the formula CPI equals earned value, EV, / actual cost, AC. In this scenario, with an EV of $150,000 and an AC of $175,000, the calculation is $150,000 / $175,000, which equals approximately 0.857. A CPI of less than 1.0 indicates that the project is over budget, meaning it is getting less value for the money spent than planned. Understanding CPI helps the project manager assess financial health and take corrective actions to improve cost efficiency. Question 4. In an Agile project, the team consistently struggles with completing the committed scope within a sprint. The Scrum Master notices that user stories are often too large and lack clear acceptance criteria. What Agile practice should the Scrum Master encourage to address this issue? A. Conduct more frequent daily stand-ups. B. Implement stricter velocity tracking. C. Improve backlog refinement sessions. D. Extend the sprint duration. Answer: C. Improve backlog refinement sessions. Improving backlog refinement sessions is the most effective Agile practice to address issues with large user stories and unclear acceptance criteria that lead to incomplete sprint scope. Backlog refinement, also known as backlog grooming, is the ongoing process where the product owner and development team collaboratively review, estimate, and add details to backlog items, breaking large items down and defining clear acceptance criteria. This ensures that the team has well understood, ready items to pull into a sprint, significantly increasing the likelihood of successful sprint completion. Make it a habit to refine the backlog proactively and continuously, not just at the last minute. Question 5. A project is in execution, and the project manager discovers that a newly introduced regulatory compliance requirement directly impacts the project's design and schedule. The project team has already started work based on the old design. What is the best course of action for the project manager? A. Inform the project sponsor about the change and ask for a decision. B. Instruct the team to pause work and redesign the affected components. C. Analyze the impact of the regulatory change and submit a change request. D. Proceed with the current design and address the compliance issue in a later phase. Answer: C. Analyze the impact of the regulatory change and submit a change request. The best course of action is to analyze the impact of the regulatory change and then submit a formal change request, adhering to the integrated change control process. Discovering a new regulatory requirement is a significant event that necessitates a thorough understanding of its implications on scope, schedule, cost, and quality before any action is taken. A formal change request ensures that the change is properly documented, reviewed by relevant stakeholders, and approved or rejected, maintaining control over the project baselines. Always follow the established change control process to manage modifications effectively and prevent scope creep. Question 6. A project manager is reviewing the quality control measurements for a manufacturing project and observes a series of data points falling outside the upper control limit on a control chart. What does this situation indicate? A. The process is stable and within expected variation. B. The project is behind schedule. C. There is a special cause variation in the process. D. The project budget is being exceeded. Answer: C. There is a special cause variation in the process. When data points on a control chart fall outside the upper or lower control limits, it indicates the presence of a special cause variation. Control charts are used to determine if a process is in or out of statistical control, with points within the control limits representing common cause, normal, variation, and points outside indicating an assignable, special cause that requires investigation and corrective action. This signals an abnormality in the process that needs to be addressed, as it is not part of the normal, random fluctuations expected. Recognizing special cause variations helps you identify and eliminate issues that could degrade quality or performance. Question 7. You are managing a large, complex infrastructure project. Due to evolving technical requirements and the need for frequent feedback, you have decided to adopt a hybrid approach. Which of the following elements is most likely to be managed using an adaptive, agile, approach within this hybrid context? A. Contract negotiations for major vendors. B. Detailed design and development of innovative software modules. C. Overall project budget and financial controls. D. Regulatory compliance and permits acquisition. Answer: B. Detailed design and development of innovative software modules. In a hybrid project, detailed design and development of innovative software modules are most likely to be managed using an adaptive, agile, approach due to their inherent uncertainty, evolving requirements, and the need for frequent feedback. Adaptive approaches excel in environments where requirements are not fully understood at the outset, allowing for iterative development, continuous feedback, and rapid adjustments, which is ideal for innovative or complex technical components. Traditional, predictive methods are generally more suitable for stable, well-defined aspects like overall budget, contracts, or regulatory compliance. When mixing approaches, apply Agile where flexibility and learning are paramount. Question 8. During project execution, a key team member raises concerns about potential interpersonal conflicts arising from misunderstandings and differing work styles among the project team members. As the project manager, which action best demonstrates effective leadership in this situation? A. Reassign team members to different tasks to avoid conflict. B. Schedule a team-building workshop to foster better understanding and communication. C. Ignore the issues, assuming the team will resolve them independently. D. Refer the team members to human resources for conflict resolution. Answer: B. Schedule a team-building workshop to foster better understanding and communication. Scheduling a team-building workshop is an excellent demonstration of effective leadership in addressing potential interpersonal conflicts due to misunderstandings and differing work styles. This proactive approach fosters psychological safety, improves communication, and helps team members build trust and respect for each other, which are essential for effective collaboration. Rather than avoiding or escalating the issue, the project manager directly facilitates an environment where the team can learn to work together more harmoniously. Investing in team development up front can prevent minor disagreements from escalating into major disruptions. Question 9. A project manager discovers that a project deliverable, initially planned for a fixed price, now requires significant unforeseen changes due to new regulatory requirements. The contract with the vendor was a firm fixed price, FFP, contract. What is the most likely implication for the project? A. The vendor will absorb the additional costs for the changes. B. The project will need to renegotiate the contract, potentially leading to increased costs. C. The project manager can unilaterally demand the changes at no extra cost. D. The scope of work will be reduced to avoid additional costs. Answer: B. The project will need to renegotiate the contract, potentially leading to increased costs. Under a firm fixed price, FFP, contract, the contractor bears almost all the risk for cost overruns, but this typically applies to the original agreed-upon scope. When significant unforeseen changes like new regulatory requirements arise, these constitute a change in scope that was not part of the original agreement. In such cases, the project will need to renegotiate the contract with the vendor to incorporate these new requirements, which will almost certainly lead to an increase in project costs and potentially a delay in the schedule. Always remember that FFP contracts provide stability for the buyer but are rigid regarding changes to the agreed scope. Question 10. A project manager is leading a project that involves a highly innovative and complex product. The requirements are expected to evolve significantly throughout the project lifecycle. Which planning approach would be most suitable for defining the project's scope? A. Decomposition into a detailed work breakdown structure, WBS. B. Progressive elaboration with rolling wave planning. C. Fixed scope statement with comprehensive change control. D. Agile user stories and epics with adaptive planning. Answer: D. Agile user stories and epics with adaptive planning. For a highly innovative and complex product with evolving requirements, using Agile user stories and epics with adaptive planning is the most suitable scope definition approach. Agile methodologies embrace change and iterative development, allowing requirements to emerge and evolve throughout the project, rather than trying to define everything up front. User stories and epics provide a flexible way to capture evolving needs at a high level, progressively detailing them in short iterations. This approach acknowledges uncertainty and allows for continuous adaptation to deliver the most valuable product. Question 11. During a project's execution phase, the project manager identifies that a critical deliverable is falling behind schedule, and the team needs additional resources to meet the deadline. The project's budget is already constrained. Which of the following is the best course of action for the project manager to take first? A. Re-baseline the project's schedule to reflect the delay. B. Inform the sponsor immediately about the delay and request additional funds. C. Analyze the root cause of the delay and explore options for schedule compression. D. Authorize overtime for the team to catch up. Answer: C. Analyze the root cause of the delay and explore options for schedule compression. The best initial course of action for the project manager is to analyze the root cause of the delay and explore options for schedule compression. Before seeking more funds or rebaselining, it's essential to understand why the delay is occurring and to identify internal solutions, such as crashing, adding resources, or fast-tracking, performing activities in parallel, that might resolve the issue without external intervention or budget increases. A thorough analysis demonstrates proactive problem-solving and due diligence before escalating to stakeholders or impacting the project's financial health. Question 12. A project manager is facilitating a retrospective meeting with an Agile team. One team member consistently dominates the conversation, making it difficult for others to share their perspectives or voice concerns. What technique should the project manager use to encourage broader participation? A. Publicly ask the dominating team member to speak less. B. Introduce round-robin, sharing or silent writing activities. C. End the meeting early and reschedule with specific ground rules. D. Assign a different facilitator for the next retrospective. Answer: B. Introduce round-robin, sharing or silent writing activities. Introducing round-robin, sharing or silent writing activities is an effective technique to encourage broader participation in a retrospective meeting when one team member dominates. These methods create a structured environment where every team member gets an equal opportunity to contribute their thoughts without interruption, or where they can anonymously write down their ideas before discussion. This ensures that all voices are heard, fostering a more inclusive and productive environment where diverse perspectives can emerge. These techniques are designed to level the playing field and empower quieter team members to share their valuable insights. Question 13. Your project is approaching its scheduled completion date, but the team still has several open issues that require resolution. You need to prepare the final project report and conduct administrative closure. Which of the following activities is not part of the closing process group? A. Obtaining formal acceptance of the final product, service, or result. B. Releasing team members and resources. C. Updating organizational process assets with lessons learned. D. Creating the work breakdown structure, WBS. Answer: D. Creating the work breakdown structure, WBS. Creating the work breakdown structure, WBS, is not part of the closing process group. It is a core activity within the planning process group, specifically for defining scope. The WBS is created early in the project lifecycle to decompose the project scope into manageable work packages. The closing process group, conversely, focuses on formalizing the acceptance of the project or phase, completing all project activities, updating organizational process assets, and releasing resources. Always remember that project phases logically flow from initiation to planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and finally, closing. Question 14. A project manager is assessing the project's value delivery. The initial business case outlined a specific net present value, NPV, and return on investment, ROI, targets. As the project progresses, external market conditions change, potentially impacting these financial benefits. What should the project manager do? A. Ignore external changes as the business case was approved upfront. B. Continue with the original plan and hope the market recovers. C. Reevaluate the potential benefits and communicate any changes to stakeholders. D. Focus solely on completing the technical scope, as financial benefits are not the project manager's responsibility. Answer: C. Reevaluate the potential benefits and communicate any changes to stakeholders. Reevaluating the potential benefits and communicating any changes to stakeholders is essential when external market conditions impact the financial targets outlined in the business case. A project manager is responsible for ensuring the project continues to align with the organization's strategic objectives and deliver anticipated value, which extends beyond merely completing the technical scope. By reassessing the business case, the project manager can provide updated information to decision-makers, allowing them to determine if the project remains viable or if adjustments are necessary to maximize value. Continuously monitoring benefits realization helps maintain alignment with organizational strategy. Question 15. A project manager observes that a project team member frequently interrupts others during meetings, expresses strong opinions without listening to alternatives, and struggles with adapting to new ideas. This behavior indicates a weakness in which crucial leadership skill. A. Technical proficiency. B. Strategic planning. C. Emotional intelligence. D. Financial management. Answer: C. Emotional intelligence. The described behavior, frequent interruptions, strong opinions without listening, and struggling with new ideas, indicates a weakness in emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence involves understanding and managing one's own emotions, as well as recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. Key components like self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills are crucial for effective teamwork and adaptability. A project manager must cultivate strong emotional intelligence to navigate team dynamics, foster collaboration, and effectively resolve interpersonal challenges. Understanding and managing emotions is vital for building a cohesive and high-performing team. Question 16. A project manager is faced with a situation where a critical vendor for a major deliverable unexpectedly goes out of business. This event poses a significant threat to the project's success. What is the most appropriate risk response strategy in this scenario? A. Risk acceptance. B. Risk mitigation. C. Risk avoidance. D. Risk transference. Answer: B. Risk mitigation. Risk mitigation is the most appropriate strategy when a critical vendor unexpectedly goes out of business, as this event is a significant threat that has occurred or is highly likely to occur, requiring action to reduce its impact or probability. While you cannot avoid an event that has already happened, you can mitigate its effects by activating a fallback plan, finding an alternative vendor, or accelerating in-house development to lessen the negative consequences. Mitigation focuses on reducing the severity or likelihood of a negative risk impact. Having a backup plan or secondary vendor identified in advance is an excellent example of a mitigation strategy. Question 17. The project management plan includes a baseline against which project performance will be measured. Which of the following baselines is used to measure the schedule performance of a project? A. Cost baseline. B. Scope baseline. C. Schedule baseline. D. Performance measurement baseline. Answer: C. Schedule baseline. The schedule baseline is specifically used to measure the schedule performance of a project. It is the approved version of the project schedule and serves as a fixed reference point against which actual schedule performance is compared throughout the project's execution. Deviations from this baseline indicate whether the project is ahead of, behind, or on schedule. All baselines, scope, schedule, and cost, collectively form the performance measurement baseline, but the schedule baseline is the specific component for time-related performance. Always ensure your baselines are formally approved to provide a stable target for performance monitoring. Question 18. A project manager is leading a predictive project, and the team needs to forecast the project's total cost at completion. The current earned value, EV, is $200,000, actual cost, AC, is $250,000, and the budget at completion, BAC, is $500,000. Assuming current variances continue, what is the estimate at completion, EAC? A. $400,000. B. $550,000. C. $625,000. D. $700,000. Answer: C. $625,000. To calculate the estimate at completion, EAC, assuming current variances continue, you use the formula EAC equals BAC/CPI. First, calculate the Cost Performance Index, CPI, using CPI equals EV/AC, which is $200,000/$250,000 equals 0.8. Then, use this CPI to calculate EAC. EAC equals $500,000/0.8 equals $625,000. This calculation provides a forecast of the total cost required to complete the project, given the current rate of spending efficiency. Understanding EAC helps the project manager to predict the final project cost and to take necessary corrective actions. Question 19. A key stakeholder is consistently demanding additional features not included in the approved project scope, threatening to withdraw support if their demands are not met. What is the best approach for the project manager to handle this situation? A. Immediately add the requested features to avoid losing stakeholder support. B. Inform the stakeholder that the features are out of scope and cannot be added. C. Document the request as a change request and follow the integrated change control process. D. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor for a decision. Answer: C. Document the request as a change request and follow the integrated change control process. The best approach is to document the request as a change request and follow the integrated change control process. While stakeholder engagement is important, it's crucial to manage scope creep and maintain project control. By formally documenting the request, analyzing its impact on scope, schedule, and cost, and then submitting it for review and approval, or rejection, by the Change Control Board or appropriate authority, the project manager maintains control and transparency. This process ensures that all changes are evaluated against project objectives and stakeholder needs in a structured manner. Question 20. A project team is highly experienced and self-organizing. The project manager's primary role in this scenario would increasingly shift towards A. Directing and closely supervising daily tasks. B. Performing detailed technical work. C. Facilitating, coaching, and removing impediments. D. Managing vendor contracts exclusively. Answer: C. Facilitating, coaching, and removing impediments. For a highly experienced and self-organizing team, the project manager's primary role shifts towards facilitating, coaching, and removing impediments. In such environments, particularly common in agile or hybrid settings, the team takes ownership of daily task management and technical execution. The project manager then serves as a servant leader, empowering the team, resolving blockers, fostering a positive work environment, and helping the team continuously improve its processes. This shift maximizes team autonomy and leverages their expertise effectively. Question 21. You are initiating a new project and are determining the project's objectives and how it aligns with the organization's strategic goals. Which document is most crucial at this stage for capturing the project's purpose, high-level requirements, and authorized project manager? A. Project Management Plan. B. Scope Statement. C. Project Charter. D. Business Case. Answer: C. Project Charter. The project charter is the most crucial document at the initiation stage for capturing the project's purpose, high-level requirements, and authorizing the project manager. It formally establishes the project, defines its high-level objectives, lists key stakeholders, and grants the project manager the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities. While the business case justifies the project's existence, the project charter officially launches it and outlines its initial framework. Remember, the project charter is the foundational document that gives the project legitimacy and direction from the start. Question 22. A project is identified as having a significant risk of a key technology becoming obsolete before the project's completion, potentially rendering the final product useless. The project manager decides to invest in researching alternative technologies proactively to have a backup solution ready. What is this an example of? A. Risk acceptance. B. Risk avoidance. C. Risk mitigation. D. Risk escalation. Answer: C. Risk mitigation. Investing in researching alternative technologies proactively to have a backup solution ready is an example of risk mitigation. Risk mitigation involves taking actions to reduce the probability or impact of a negative risk event. By preparing an alternative, the project manager is actively working to lessen the potential negative consequences if the primary technology indeed becomes obsolete, thereby mitigating the threat. This proactive approach aims to decrease the overall exposure to the risk. Question 23. A project team is working on a new software product using an Agile approach. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that the product is not meeting their expectations regarding user experience, despite meeting the defined functional requirements. What should be the project team's immediate focus to address this feedback? A. Revisit the product vision with the product owner and stakeholders. B. Focus on delivering the remaining functional requirements as planned. C. Conduct a detailed cost-benefit analysis of user experience improvements. D. Develop a comprehensive risk management plan for user satisfaction. Answer: A. Revisit the product vision with the product owner and stakeholders. When stakeholders express concern about the product not meeting user experience expectations, even if functional requirements are met, the immediate focus should be to revisit the product vision with the product owner and stakeholders. This feedback indicates a potential disconnect between the current development path and the true value stakeholders are seeking. By revisiting the product vision, the team can ensure alignment, clarify expectations, and adjust the product backlog to prioritize features that truly enhance user experience and deliver desired value. Agile projects prioritize delivering value, which includes user satisfaction, over simply checking off functional boxes. Question 24. A project manager is analyzing the project's progress and notes that the team has completed 70% of the planned work, but only 60% of the budget has been spent. What could be a possible interpretation of this situation based on earned value management, EVM, metrics? A. The project is behind schedule and over budget. B. The project is ahead of schedule and under budget. C. The project is ahead of schedule but over budget. D. The project is behind schedule but under budget. Answer: B. The project is ahead of schedule and under budget. If 70% of the planned work is completed, earned value, while only 60% of the budget has been spent, actual cost compared to planned value for that work, it suggests the project is likely ahead of schedule and under budget. For example, if planned value was $100,000 at this point, EV is $70,000, 70% of planned work completed, and AC is $60,000, 60% of planned budget spent for the work done. A higher EV than PV indicates being ahead of schedule, and a lower AC than EV indicates being under budget. This is a favorable status, showing efficiency in both time and cost. Question 25. A project is completing its final deliverables. To ensure the project fully adheres to organizational standards and internal procedures, what is the next critical step before formally closing the project? A. Conduct a final team performance appraisal. B. Perform administrative closure activities. C. Update the project management plan. D. Begin planning for the next phase or project. Answer: B. Perform administrative closure activities. Before formally closing the project, the next critical step is to perform administrative closure activities to ensure adherence to organizational standards and procedures. Administrative closure involves activities such as verifying all work and requirements are met, updating organizational process assets with lessons learned, archiving project documents, and closing out contracts. This ensures that all administrative loose ends are tied up, and the project formally concludes in an organized and compliant manner, providing valuable historical information for future projects.